Ego is the mind, which is the false self, and your soul is your true self. Now, your ego is necessary as part of the human experience, but it must be balanced with your higher self, which is the true you. Now, your ego's job is to keep you safe, right? But it's like your negative way of thinking. So I'll give you an analogy. Do you imagine back in the day and you have to go hunting for your food, and as you're going out hunting, you have to think things like, oh, I better be careful, there might be a lion out here that's going to want to eat me. You see, it's negative thinking, but it's to keep you safe. So that's the job of the ego. Now, the ego dissolves when you heal it. It's not to be killed, it just needs to be healed. So in this video, I'm going to give you 8 signs you are healing your ego. So hey guys, I'm Laura, and I make videos that will awaken your awareness. Now, the first sign is you're aware that the ego tells stories and they are not true. So again, it's the ego's job is to keep you safe, right? And so whenever you're like stepping out of that comfort zone and your self-doubt steps in, you are aware that that self-doubt and that negative talk isn't true, and it's just your ego trying to keep you in the comfort zone. So you realize that the ego mind sees a lot of things that aren't true, and you no longer believe in everything your mind is telling you. So that is the first sign you are healing your ego. Sign number 2 is you are less attached to your opinion and are less drawn to prove someone wrong. So when you want to prove someone wrong and prove that you're right, that's coming from your ego, right? And when you're healing your ego, that's something that you don't even care about anymore. Like, it's something that doesn't even concern you. If someone wants to think you're wrong, you just allow it to be. You know, like you have no interest in actually proving anything to them. And so that's the second sign that you are healing your ego. So number 3 is when you are triggered, which is when your ego is activated, you are able to pause and breathe before responding. So I noticed this change within me. After I did some inner work and healing, I was very, like, before doing the inner work and healing, I'd get angry easy and I was very reactive. Like, I'd get triggered and react, like, so easily. Then doing this healing work on myself, I noticed that change in me. So when I'm in a situation where I know I would normally get triggered, I notice like, oh, I'm not feeling triggered right now. Oh, this is a new experience. I was like, I don't feel triggered, I normally would. And then I noticed that because I'm not being triggered, instead of being in a reactive mode, I noticed that I was able to do, pause and breathe and then respond. And that's a like more powerful place to be in, if you're able to respond instead of react. So that's the third sign that you are healing your ego. Sign number 4 is you're aware of how you speak about yourself and how you speak about others. So you realize that this negative self-talk that we have simply comes from the ego and that it's not true. And so you have this sort of transition into having more positive self-talk. And you do the same thing with other people as well. So it's like, you know that if you're speaking negatively about others, it's coming from your ego as well. And so you just start seeing other people in a more positive light. You start speaking about them in a more positive light as well. So that's the 4th sign that your ego is healing. Sign number 5 is you are more aware that you cannot change, control, fix, or save anyone. So I had this realization myself because I was one of those people that's like caring and like going out of my way to try to help others. Then I realized you can't help people that won't help themselves. And then I realized the best realization, is that it's not your job. It's not your job to save anyone. It's their job to save themselves. And so because I've had this realization, it's like I will not get into a relationship with a male that needs fixing. It's not my job to fix him. I'm not his mother. It's like the sort of person I want to be attracting is on that same level. They are the people who take responsibility for fixing themselves. So that's the 5th sign. Sign number 6 is you begin to have feelings of oneness. You start seeing yourself on the same levels as everyone else. And you see people as like the same but unique in different ways. And you see people like no one's better than the other. It's all like equal, right? And I know that people actually experience ego death when using psychedelics. So DMT, for example, I've read people's experiences. I've never done it myself, but I've read people's experiences where they literally blast off. It's like an out-of-body experience or something. And it's like they blast off into a different realm, but they say that, you know, they experience ego death and they just feel connected to everything. So that is the sixth sign, and I would love to experience an ego death like that just to be able to experience it, but I haven't myself. So let me know in the comment section if you have experienced that, because I would love to know. Sign number 7 is you have new perceptions. So your ego controls your perception and makes you judge things the way that you do. So when you start to see things from different angles that you've never viewed from before, that is a sign that your ego is dissolving. The 8th sign is the strive to bear somebody falls away. So you realize that you have been spending most of your life trying to prove yourself to the world, trying to receive validation. And when you heal your ego, that falls away. Like, you have no desire to prove yourself to anyone. You do not have a desire to be somebody. You're just happy with being who you are. You're at peace with that. So those are the 8 signs you are healing your ego. And if you want to know how to do ego work, then stick around on my channel, because I am going to drop a video on that as well. So subscribe and hit the bell notification. And if you got some sort of value out of this video, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or write a comment. I hope I see you on the next video. Have an awesome day. Peace.